on to part 2 of 1.2, solving inequalities. Last time we talked about what happens with an inequality as far as doing interval notation, whether it's open or closed, which direction is pointing. But today we're going to take it a step further and work on compound inequalities. And that's where you really basically have two inequalities altogether. The first type of compound inequality we have is like this, where you've got your variable in the middle of two other things. And there's two different ways that you can do these. So number 4, I'm going to do the first way, and that's to focus on your variable. Keep my variables in the middle. I need to get that variable by itself. So in order to do that, I would have to add 6. And you have to add 6 on each side of an inequality that is attached to it. Okay, so these 6s can't be, none of them could be in the same area. They all have to be separated by inequalities in order for this to work. Then when I do that, I get negative 4 plus 6 is 6. And I get 2x here because that cancels. And then 8 plus 6 is 14. Okay, my next step, again, I'm focusing on the x. I'm trying to get the variable by itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by 2. And that means I need to divide everything by 2 on both sides of the inequality. So I have 3 is less than x is less than, oh wait, I did that wrong, didn't I? See, nobody's paying attention. If you were here and you caught my mistake, you get candy, but nobody's here, so I don't get to throw my candy. Okay, 6 and negative 4 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Make sure I did that one right. Yep, 14 divided by 2 is 7. So this is my inequality. It's a compound inequality. And it's one of the ways that you'll see them. When I go to graph it on a number line, what I like about these is if you have an inequality where you have an x in between two numbers, that's exactly how your number line is going to look. I'm going to have a 1 and a 7. And my values are going to be between those 2 points. Let's see, I made a little mistake here. This was all greater than, there's no equal to. So this one, between the 1 and the x, there's a greater than or equal or less than or equal to, so I'm going to fill in that circle. But the 1 by the 7 does not have that, so it's going to be an open circle. And when you do your interval notation, it's just going to mirror this. I don't have any values until I get to 1. That's a closed circle, so I have a bracket, 1, and then it keeps going up to 7. But that's an open circle, so behind my 7 is a parentheses, and that's my interval notation. So that's one way to do a compound inequality when you have your variable in the middle of two inequalities. This one's different, so I'm going to do it a different way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it up into 2 different equations to solve. The first one is going to be everything before the inequality all the way up to the next inequality. So my first equation is 3x minus 4 is less than or equal to 5x minus 2. The other inequality is going to be just after the first one all the way to the end. So this is going to be 5x minus 2 is less than or equal to 0. Okay, remember whatever's in the middle can't be split up. The 5x minus 2 has to go together on both sides. Then we're going to solve each of these inequalities here. Everything is simplified. There's no simplification I can do on either side. So the first thing you do is you move your variables to the left. So I'm going to subtract 5x from both sides. And I get negative 2x minus 4 is less than or equal to negative 2. I'm going to add 4 to both sides. So I'll try to get the negative 2x by itself. Negative 2x is less than or equal to positive 2. I have to divide by a negative number. And whenever we divide by a negative number, we have to flip the inequality. So this becomes x is greater than or equal to 2. No, I did it again, man. I need you guys in here keeping me straight, seriously. I miss you guys. All right, 2 divided by negative 2 is a negative 1. There you go. All right, over here, I'm going to add 2 to both sides. So with 5x is less than or equal to 2, I'm going to divide by 5. So x is less than or equal to 2/5. Okay, if we started with our x in the middle, then our inequality is going to have an x in the middle. And notice that x is greater than negative 1, which is kind of the same thing as saying negative 1 is less than or equal to x, right? Those are the same thing. It's still pointing at the negative 1. So my inequality is going to be negative 1 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 2/5. And something to keep in mind, if you've got the correct inequality, first of all, the arrows will be pointing to the left. You're not finished, but the arrows are not pointing to the left. And this number should be smaller than this number. Okay, it should go in that order on the number line. Speaking of which, now we're going to do a number line. Just like above, we know it's going to be between those two values. So I have negative 1, and I have 2/5. And I know that my interval notation is going to be between those two numbers. It's going to be everything between them. And the only thing I have to do is figure out if it's an open or closed circle. These both have equal signs under them, so they're both closed circles, like that. And the interval notation follows your graph. I have, over here I have negative 1, so that's going to be a bracket, negative 1. Then a 2/5. Also a bracket because of the parentheses. And that's it. That's your interval notation. And I'm going to pause right there, and then we're going to do a different kind of compound inequality. Okay, so the next kind of compound inequality is when we have two different inequalities separated by the words and or. And the words and or have very specific meaning. Okay, and means that your graphs are going to overlap, the values overlap, and you're going to take the overlapping values, I guess that's the best way to say that. So that's an and that's an. And then the ors mean that you're going to graph everything. And that's an or, and that's an or. So we have two of each that we're going to do. All right, we're looking at on number 6. First thing I'm going to do, you're going to solve each of these problems separately first. So I'm going to distribute the 4 here, and I have 4x minus 8 is less than or equal to 16. Add the 8 to both sides to get the x by itself. So I have 4x is less than or equal to 24. Need the x by itself, so divide by 4. So I know that x is less than or equal to 6. That's the inequality for this first part. On the second part, I need to get x by itself, so I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. And I have x is greater than 7. Okay? And when we do this, I'm going to have you do basically two-step graphing. All right? And sometimes it's not going to make a difference, and sometimes it is, but I want the system to be the same, just so you get it right. So this is what I'm going to call my draft. I have 6's on this side, 7's on the other. So first I'm just going to look at this one. If x is less than or equal to negative 6, remember we have negative infinity and positive infinity. Okay, so that means it's pointing to the left of 6, all the way to infinity because there's nothing else there, and it's a closed circle because of the equal sign. On the 7, we know it's greater than, so it's pointing to the right, but it's going to remain an open circle because there's no line underneath the 7. And then I'm going to do what I call my final graph. And here's what I need to know about my final graph. What determines the final graph is if this is and or. And so the first one is, since this is or, that means it's going to be everything. It's going to be everything. So everything that's on here goes on your final graph. So my final graph, I'm going to do in, what color should I do that in? Let's do it in pink. I'll have to show it. So my final graph is all of this. Open circle to the end, closed circle to that end. Okay, so you're always going to do a draft. Now, it just so happens that they are the same here, but pay attention to that. My interval notation is going to follow this. Okay, so the interval notation goes from left to right. So the first thing I have on the left is an arrow pointing at the negative infinity. So I know I'm going from negative infinity, and it keeps going up to the number 6. It stops there. And since it's a closed circle, I'm going to use a bracket on the 6. And then we have a space. And it picks up again at 7, but it's an open circle, so that's going to be a parentheses, and then it goes out to positive infinity. Okay. So that's an or. An or means you graph everything that's on there, like that. You just put them on top of each other and take everything. Okay, this next one is an and, but first, before we even think about the and part, we're going to solve equations. You need to get the variable on the left alone, so I'm going to add 3 to both sides. So I have 2x is greater than or equal to 0. Divide both sides by 2, and x is greater than or equal to 0. On this one, I want to get the negative 4x by itself, so I add 2 to both sides. I have negative 4x is less than or equal to negative 12. I'm going to divide by negative 4. Remember, you flip the inequality when you divide by a negative number, so this is x is greater than or equal to 3. All right, so first I'm going to do my draft graph. That's where I put both of them on here. So I have 0, and I have 3. The 0 is greater than or equal to, so it's a closed circle going all the way out to positive infinity. The 3 is a closed circle going all the way out to positive infinity. And means overlap. So the only part that I'm going to graph on my final graph is just this part that overlaps. Let's do that. Okay, this is the only part where where both lines are, where they overlap. So my final graph is going to be negative infinity, negative positive infinity, and it goes from, there's a 0 here, but the only part I'm putting on my final graph is this part where they overlap, which is a circle on here and to the end. That covers everything that they both have. And then my interval notation matches that, so it goes from 3 out to positive infinity. Infinities have a parentheses, that's a closed circle, so that's a bracket. Okay, I'm going to try the next one. We have, first, this is an and, okay, which means we know we're going to do overlap. I'm going to solve the first equation, subtract 1. I have 5x is less than negative 5. Divide by positive 5. Since we're dividing by a positive, I don't have to flip anything. X is less than negative 1. Over here, I'm going to add 2 to both sides. 6x is greater than 12. Divide by 6. And 6 is greater than or equal to 2. Okay, so my draft, let's star my finals here, maybe. Okay, so on my draft, I have we're negative 1 and a positive 2. On this one, it's less than negative 1, so I have an open circle on the negative 1, and it's pointing to the left. Oops, that's not a 6, that's supposed to be an x. On this one, x is greater than or equal to 2, so it's closed circle because it's greater than or equal to, and this one's pointing to the right, so it's going to go out to the right. And means the overlap, and there's nothing that overlaps here. So my final is going to be another line with nothing on it, and it's going to be no solution because there's nothing that overlaps. No overlap. Okay, that's different from when we had the or. When we had something like that that looked this similar in the or where they're going in opposite directions, we kept everything. So that's why it's really important to do the draft, is so that you're paying attention to whether it's everything or overlap. Remember, you should be pausing and rewinding when you need to, and taking notes and working through it, because that's how you're really going to get it to click. Okay, last one. We're going to get the x by itself, so I'm subtracting 15 from both sides. So it's negative 7x is greater than or equal to negative 21. Divide by negative 7. I divided by negative numbers, so I'm flipping my inequality. X is less than or equal to 3. And on this one, I'm going to add 3 to both sides. 6x is greater than negative 6 plus 3 is a negative 3. Divide by 6. And x is greater than negative 1/2. Okay, so I'm going to do a draft first. And I've got negative 1/2 here and 3 here. The 3 is less than or equal to 3, so I'm going to draw a circle that's closed and go all the way this way. The negative 1/2 is an open circle, and it's going all the way that way. And in my final, this is an or, so this means I graph everything. If you lay these on top of each other, the 3 is going to go through that circle and close it up. So what you end up with for your final looks something like this. I have a straight line, negative 1/2, 3, and my final is everything. Because when you lay those on top of each other to get everything, it closes up the circle and you have a line that's everything. So this is going to be either all real numbers or infinitely many solutions, depending on how your teacher likes that answer. Okay. That is the end of my compound inequalities.